Okay, guys, so I realized I was muted that whole time. It was a really good training. So I'm gonna try to get straight back into it, but I need to provide the link again real quick in Facebook. So if you want to join my Zoom training, just go ahead and click that link in the comment section. Okay, so today I am teaching you guys how to improve your sleep, energy, drive, motivation naturally. So these steps that I'm going to give you are instrumental and significant. Like I cannot overstate how significant these steps will be in improving all those things. I know a lot of people like throw out these like phrases like, improve your energy naturally. And it's just like common, steps that most people know. This is not that. Most people sadly do not know these steps that you can naturally take to improve all of those things. These are life-changing habits that you can do. So let me pull up my notes real quick and then we'll get straight into it. Okay, so these steps are going to be life-changing for your overall life, your drive, hormones, ability to lose fat, and perform your best in and out of the gym. The first thing that you're going to want to do is nurture your circadian rhythm. By the way, yes, I have taught on these subjects before, but as Alex Hormozi often says, often we do not need to learn something new. We need to be reminded of what we need to do. And also a lot of these steps I've covered before, but I have not put them all together in one training. So even if you've heard me talk about sleep, or you've heard me talk about hormones, or if you've heard me talk about circadian rhythm, you will want to listen to this training because I'm putting it all in one. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is nurture your natural circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is your body's inner biological clock that works off of light and dark cycles, meaning daytime and nighttime cycles. And what it does when your circadian rhythm is properly synced, it tells your body to release hormones at the right times in the right amounts. But when your circadian rhythm is inverted, or what's the word? Set off, like not fully synced to light and dark cycles, then it can throw off your body's ability to produce the hormones that it needs in the right amounts and in the right time. So this is so key. So how do you sync your circadian rhythm? One thing that you can do to do that is see the sunrise. Now, if you typically wake up, hours after sunrise, then you may or may not want to gradually wake up earlier and earlier. But even if you do it suddenly, which is something that I did, and it was life-changing for me, it can be very stimulating in a good way. Even if you typically wake up groggy and tired in the mornings, hours after sunrise, if you make this shift, just seeing the sunrise, it can be life-changing because it like changes your hormones like it naturally should be. And the reason why is because sunrise light emits a lot of red light, and that red light through your eyes speaks to your hypothalamus, which then speaks to your thyroid and your adrenals and your other endocrine organs, and basically tells them to produce the correct hormones in the right amounts and at the right times. So naturally, when you wake up, your cortisol levels should be highest if your circadian rhythm is properly synced. And that is what wakes you up in the day and gets you going. If you're waking up groggy in the mornings and throughout the day, but you're wired at night, then your circadian rhythm is inverted, and that is very bad for your health and your hormones. It can sabotage your weight loss goals and your performance goals and muscle and strength goals. So because it's so important that the light gets to your hypothalamus, which is seen through your eyes, It's so important that you do not wear sunglasses, you don't wear hats. If you're seeing the sunrise, it's safe to directly look into the sun. And all you need is about 2 to 3 minutes during this. What I like to do is when I wake up to see the sunrise, I will go outside barefoot. And the reason why is because I'm grounding myself. That's another thing that you can do. And grounding is powerful in the fact that it gives your body free electrons, which is very energizing and healthful to your body. In fact, interesting note, somewhat of an aside, when your body has too many protons, which has a positive charge, an electron has a negative charge. When your body has too much protons, which often comes with chronic inflammation, those protons get converted to fat storage. So if you have an excess of protons, which can occur when you have like inflammation of any level, that can turn into basically fat storage. Okay, so just 2 to 3 minutes of that barefoot. I personally like to do it while I'm brushing my teeth because the way my brain works, I like to hit two birds with one stone, so to speak. I like to be productive and make the most out of my time. And by the time I'm done brushing my teeth, it's already been 2 or 3 minutes because I kind of brush my teeth for a long time. But, that's optional, of course. The next thing that you're gonna want to do is get UVA rise light. UVA rise is when the sun is 10 degrees above the horizon, and that typically occurs about an hour after sunrise. It depends on your location, and it also lasts for about 90 minutes. Again, depending on your location. And there are lots of apps out there that tell you when UVA rises in your location. So those are cool to get. And the reason why you want to get UVA rise is out of the two, like sunrise versus UVA rise has the greatest impact on hormones, mood, motivation, and drive. And it can have the greatest impact on energy and making dramatic changes in your health. Sunrise is still very important, but if you can only do one, I would prioritize UVA rise. So, and you need about, I would say 10 to 20 minutes of UVA rise. So what I like to do is I wake up in the morning, barefoot, go outside, brushing my teeth for 2 to 3 minutes while I'm looking at the sunrise. I'm done. Once I hit 2 to 3 minutes, I go inside, I prepare breakfast, I eat breakfast, and by that time, UVA rise has already started to occur. So I will then go outside and go on a casual walk or bike ride. And by the way, that step is going to tie into another thing that I'm going to go into later that's going to greatly benefit your hormones and your energy levels. So all in all, so far, it's like I'm hitting two birds with one stone, so to speak, and I'm not having to wait for any of these things. It just naturally occurs, like, you know, next to each other. If you wake up groggy in the mornings, this is the next one, point number 3. If you wake up groggy in the mornings, you're going to want to minimize carbohydrates for breakfast. The reason why is because carbohydrates have a shutting off effect on cortisol. And if you're already groggy in the morning, we do not want that to happen. As I said earlier, if your circadian rhythm is synced like it should be, you naturally will have most of your cortisol levels highest in the mornings. And then as it goes throughout the day, it kind of trickles off. That's how it's naturally supposed to be. But if you're already waking up groggy, that means you already have low cortisol in the mornings. And if you're eating carbohydrates on top of that, then you're basically really decreasing those cortisol levels, and we do not want that to happen in the mornings. So minimize carbohydrates in the mornings if you wake up groggy. The other thing that you can do is if you have energy issues, or let's say that you wake up groggy in the mornings and it takes you a little while to get started, you can take licorice root, the tincture, which is basically the liquid form of licorice root, after lunch. And the reason why I say after lunch, this is going to tie into another point, is because licorice root tends to be made with glycerin, and that's a carbohydrate, and we'll get into that later, but that's why I'm saying to do it after lunch. So what licorice root does is it extends the half-life of your cortisol. So you technically could do it a little bit earlier if you wanted to, like, you know, around breakfast time. But if, say, like you wake up groggy and then you have lunch later on and then you crash after lunch, this would be a good time to take licorice root. So it extends the half-life of your cortisol, meaning your cortisol is going to last longer throughout the day. So this is only really necessary, again, if you're waking up groggy and have feel tired earlier in the day, but you feel wired at night. The other thing is cycling on and off caffeine. So if you drink coffee, it's not that coffee is bad if you drink it daily. In fact, it has a lot of health benefits, but if you're drinking it daily, it can, in essence, wear out your adrenal glands, because caffeine is stimulating to the adrenals and producing more cortisol, among other stimulating hormones. And when your adrenals are constantly stimulated like that, they can become fatigued and tired. And that's where you see people being chronically tired and struggling with energy. So, and this is what I personally do. I will cycle on 2 days on coffee, 1 day off, 2 days on, and then off on the weekends. So what that looks like is Monday, for example, Monday and Tuesday, I'll have coffee, Wednesday, no coffee, Thursday and Friday, coffee, and no coffee during the weekends. And that feels great to me. Like, I only work out, as you guys know, I only work out twice a week, because if you're training optimally, that's all you need. And I like to drink coffee as my natural pre-workout to, you know, get me going and really boost my performance in the gym. And when I cycle it on and off like that, I respond extremely well to the caffeine, because I've taken breaks from it, and it really boosts my workout. Cool. The other thing is, do not skip your meals. Or what will happen is when you finally do get your big meal, you will crash after that big meal. Also, skipping meals, by the way, it can sabotage women's goals. It can make them fatter. It can make them lose muscle mass and strength. So don't recommend fasting for women. Men, there are more benefits for men. So if I would say, it's not that fasting is bad for men, but you have to do it a certain way for it to be productive. But if you're struggling with energy and you're sleeping poorly, don't skip meals. Otherwise, you're running off of adrenaline, and you're gonna fatigue your adrenals. And then once you finally do have that big meal, you're going to crash. Cool. Next one. The other thing is, you're going to want to eat your food in a specific order, and that is veggies first, proteins and fats second, carbs and starches last. Why? For two big reasons. When you eat your food in that order, studies show that you have a lower blood glucose response eating your food in that order versus, say, for example, the opposite. Like, say you eat your carbs first, and then, you know, your veggies, and then your protein. There is a higher blood glucose response. And what happens with a higher blood glucose response, there's more potential for fat storage, and there's a greater energy crash after meals. If you've ever like eaten lunch and then you go back to work and you find that you're really groggy, one reason why is the order that you're eating your food. And the other reason why is because you will mitigate that energy crash if you have some low intensity casual exercise or movement after your meals. And that is the next point. So you should be doing some casual activity. It doesn't have to be exercise. It could be casual walking. It could be cleaning. It could be stretching, and all after your meals. And studies show that when you do that, it is just as effective as the diabetic medicine called metformin, which is used for diabetics to help reduce their blood glucose spike. So really, really powerful at preventing fats or minimizing fat storage, and in some cases preventing fat storage and also preventing energy crashes. The other thing you're going to want to do to improve your sleep, energy, drive, all those things is if you lift hard, you should rest harder. Or if you don't, if you're lifting hard and you're not resting sufficiently, you're going to be forced to take breaks from the gym, which otherwise can be known as deloads. Deloads are not necessary if you are managing your volume and your recovery. And if you guys are training the way that I teach, which is high intensity training to failure, you only need 1 to 2 sets max per exercise, and you only need to lift 2 to 3 times a week max to optimize your results. Then you should be resting about 4 to 5 times a week as well. Again, if you don't, you will be forced to deload, and that central nervous fatigue will catch up to you quickly. Even if your sleep is great, even if your nutrition is great, so prioritize recovery. Cool. The other thing is, okay, so again, if you wake up groggy in the mornings and feel wired at nights, you're going to want to eat most of your carbs in the evenings. Again, because carbs have a shutting off effect on cortisol, and we do want that to happen in the evenings. I will say, even if you don't have a hard time falling asleep in the evenings and you do have a lot of energy in the mornings, you can still take benefit of this. And we'll get into that in just a second. The other thing you're going to want to do is wear blue light blocking glasses and turn on blue light blocking filters on your electronic devices at sunset. Sunset's going to be different for everyone in different locations. Right now here in Texas, sunset has been around 8:30 p.m., but it also depends on the season. There are apps that can show you when sunset is. You can also just do a quick Google search and it'll tell you. But the reason why you want to wear blue light blocking glasses and turn on your blue light blocking filters on your electronic devices is blue light. If you think of natural light, which comes from the sun and the moon, blue light is highest during the day, like peak hours of the day, like 12. It's not just at 12, but it's like during the brightest part of the day. And then naturally it decreases as it gets closer to sunrise and then past sunrise. And it's very minimal at night. And blue light is very stimulating to our brains. So, you know, if you're watching, I'm not saying you can't watch TV or play video games at night. I'm just suggesting if you are, it will make it much more easy to fall asleep if you wear blue light blocking glasses and turn on your blue light blocking filters. That's what I personally do, and it helps me a lot. Again, remember what I was telling you guys earlier about how sunrise stimulates a specific hormone. I don't remember which hormone it was in the morning, and then that converts into melatonin at night when it is dark. The key phrase is when it is dark. If you're being stimulated by light, even into the dark hours, then that hormone is not going to convert into melatonin, and it's going to be much harder to fall asleep. Cool. The next one is you're going to want to take a tablespoon of honey and protein before bed. Why? Again, remember, carbs have a shutting off effect on cortisol. So the honey, the carbohydrates from the honey helps to do that. The protein with that could be something like, I personally like to do cottage cheese and honey, but it really could be any type of carb. Any type of protein. The other reason is your liver actually does most of its work during the night while you're asleep, especially during the times of 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. And your liver runs off of glucose, which is a carbohydrate. Oftentimes when people are waking up in the middle of the night between 12 to 3 a.m., it is because their liver is waking themselves up to get that midnight snack, because your liver needs that energy, it needs that fuel to do its job while you're sleeping. So this one was a game changer for me, and for many of my clients when they were doing everything else that they needed to do, and me myself also. This one was a game changer for me whenever I was having a hard time falling asleep. So I highly recommend this. Another thing you can do is take, it's a supplement called Luna Sleep Aid, and I suggest the melatonin free one, because melatonin, by the way, is a hormone. And anytime that you take a hormone, it can minimize your body's ability to produce its own. So Luna Sleep Aid you can get on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. You only have to take 2 capsules. It's all herbs, so it's completely natural, and it basically helps you to fall asleep. I also recommend magnesium glycinate. Really recommend glycinate, that form of magnesium, because magnesium glycinate helps your brain to relax. It reduces anxiety and helps you to relax overall. Also, interesting fact, 80% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. So really the vast majority of us should be supplementing with magnesium pretty much the rest of our lives, because we're not getting it from our food or our water supply, or we're not getting enough, that is. And then the other thing is taking a probiotic at night as well. Probiotics are great for your gut health, but interesting fact, probiotics taken before bed can also help you to fall asleep. Another suggestion that you can do is, again, if your anxiety or stress is high, you can do a couple of things to help you to relax, and those are box breathing. Box breathing is basically where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, and you do that for 4 cycles. So it's a box. And it helps you to get into the parasympathetic response system, which is the rest and digest response. Another thing you can do is take a detox bath, which includes what is it called? Epsom salts, which is basically mostly magnesium. You can add some borax, which is basically boron. And optional, you can add some essential oils. Lavender is very relaxing. And also optional, you can add what is it called? Bentonite clay. The other thing you can do is do some relaxing stretching. There are videos on YouTube. Just type in relaxing stretching. You only need like 5 to 10 minutes. The keyword is relaxing, and it shouldn't be very stimulating to like, it shouldn't be like deep stretches or anything like that. It should be very relaxing, and those help a lot. And then finally, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, you're going to want to take honey again when you wake up. The few times that I wake up in the middle of the night, when I know I can't get back to sleep, I will go and take honey, and I cannot tell you how quickly it works. Even if I was up for an hour prior in the middle of the night, I'll go take honey, I get back in bed, and I fall asleep so quickly. So it's amazing. It's a game changer. So that summarizes everything. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough how significant many of these things are going to be for improving your motivation, your drive, your energy, improving your hormones, making fat loss easier, boosting your performance in and out of the gym, improving your focus. Like I said before, in the past, I used to wake up consistently between like 9 and 11 a.m. And I personally hated it, because the way my brain works, I like to feel like I have a full day ahead of me to be productive and get done what I need to get done. But it was always hard for me to wake up early, like to set an alarm and wake up early, because I would just feel drained and exhausted. But once I started getting the sunrise light in the morning and the UVA rise, it was like the very first day that I did it, it was like a breeze. It was easy. And it gave me energy all throughout the day. And it's not just me. There's science to back all of this up. And if you think about it, like, we are designed to work and operate during the day and sleep at night. But when we disrupt that and we don't honor that, it changes so many things in our body, and that's where it leads to problems like poor energy, poor sleep, difficulty losing weight. Those aren't the only factors. Like there are other problems behind difficulty losing weight, but those can be really big factors. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions on any of that? So let me check real quick. If you guys have questions, just put it in the chat in Zoom or on Facebook if you're watching live on Facebook. Let me check. Okay. All right, awesome. If you guys are watching this later and y'all have questions, just let me know. And I will be posting the summary of this probably tomorrow. So if you want the summary, just let me know. And I will see you guys soon.